And tonight, you'll see two outstanding bowlers from the state of Wisconsin competing for the 1984-85 Men's Championship. Jeff Richgels of Madison goes up against Jeff Henry of Milwaukee. We're greeting you from the red carpet Regency Lanes in Milwaukee, where the bowling center of the future is here today. Bowling with the Champs, brought to you in part by Miller, made the American way since 1855, and by Foster Pontiac, South 27th and Loomis. Foster challenges anyone to beat their prices, anyone. Good evening. I'm Hank Stoddard, and welcome to our finale for the 30th consecutive year of Bowling with the Champs. We're down to the men's championship final. Last Saturday night, of course, we had the women's championship final. Karen Stemsky of Milwaukee won that one. And tonight it'll be either one of two Jeffs. Jeff Henry from Milwaukee or Jeff Richgels from Madison will win the 1984-85 title. As you're undoubtedly aware, it's based on a 3-game total pin count. That's how we determine the champion. And that's the one that has that score, of course, will win the trophy. The larger share of the money, $5,000. As usual, Red Carpet Lanes will present additional money tonight. And for each game that's won, they'll present $50. There's $50 to the winner of the 3-game series. There's $25 consolation prize should one of the bowlers fail to win a game. There's an extra $100 for a 700 series, an extra $200 for an 800 series, and our last chance of our 30th year to give away the Pontiac Fiero, a 1985 Pontiac Fiero sports car, revolutionary in styling, performance, and handling, a mid-engine sports treat that delivers sports car thrills and a high mileage as well. Now that's from Foster Pontiac, and Jim Foster is over and among our sponsors. You'll see him later on tonight. Maybe he'll have a chance to give away the car because they say the lanes look pretty good. We, at the end of our show, will also present the awards for the high 3 games, the high single game, longest string of strikes in one game. And our runner-up tonight, $2,500, and our champion will receive $5,000. We'll be back to start game number 1 right after this. On our show this year, not just because they advanced to the final, but they've had consistently the highest averages.
Yeah, and it's been, really haven't seen a lot of that in the past years, but in both brackets they have completely dominated with just big scores all the way through. Each one of them had a close match in their third round, ironically, but other than that, they had an easy go of it. The alleys, as you said, look kind of nice. They both know how to play them, a little bit different in style. We'll get into that a little later. Yeah,
and both Jeffs said they expected good scores because the lanes look good. We have some people introduced before they can start rolling the balls out here in lanes 27 and 28. And at the foul line tonight is Judy Vanook, who works for WEZW and bowled in our league this past year in the Celebrity Classic League over at Red Carpet Bolero. And our official scorekeeper, George Vales. He's looking good, huh?
Oh, is he
Waving
happy?
To the crowd. Waving to the crowd. All right, there we go, 27 and 28.
All right, this show is one of the greatest single nights of my bowling career, without a doubt. There certainly have been many with a lot of PBA regional titles and 5 USBC Eagles, but on an individual basis, this was probably the most thrilling night. I was just a young bowler then. It was June of 1985, so I was still only 22 years old. I really didn't know what I was doing very much. If you see my spare shooting in that, you'll realize that. But I wasn't afraid of anything or anybody at this time. I was still pretty dumb and young, and I could throw strikes. And the interesting thing about this show, if you listen to Hank and Dennis doing the announcing, never once in the entire show do they mention that Jeff Henry, my opponent, and I are teammates. That we had just come off a couple of months earlier, finishing second or taking over second in the team all events at the ABC tournament, USBC Open Championships, name at that time, and in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1985. And the next year, we were part of the team with Brett Faulkner, John Witkowski, and John Peterson that won the team event of the ABC tournament in Las Vegas. But not once in this whole show do they mention that we're teammates. So this was a kind of an odd match to bowl. I'm not real fond of bowling friends and teammates, but you know, if you're going to bowl singles, you're going to end up, and you bowl with good guys on your team, you're going to end up bowling against them. So you just bowl your best, and at least then you know if you lose to someone who you're happy to see win. And this night I came out on top. It's a heck of an interesting match, though. So many bizarre things happen. Some splits, some spares, a lot of strikes, and a couple of just crazy ones. I'm not going to ruin all the suspense, but I thought this was a very interesting match to watch again. It's been 30-some years, and I had forgotten some of it. The one thing I did remember, and you can see it in the final game, is how nervous and tense, and it's hard to explain. That ball felt so bad in my hand. I had been so calm pretty much and collected and cool and relaxed during all the shows leading up to this title match. But boy, we were bowling on live TV for $5,000 first versus $2,500 second, and just the prestige of winning the champs and putting that on your resume when you're a young bowler who doesn't have a lot on a resume. And I wanted it so bad, and had the lead, and geez, I was just fighting to get through those frames in that last game, and it was just a matter of I wasn't coming through the ball as clean as I had the first two, and Jeff wasn't, though, either. I mean, it was just a lot of pressure. It's hard to describe until you've been in an environment like that. But boy, it was a lot of fun, and enjoy.
And turnaround. Jeff Richgels might have been looking at a lead when his opponent had that big split. Instead, his opponent makes it, and he comes back with one impossible. Next to impossible. They are made occasionally. It should give Jeff a little bit of
a lift.
And out.
I don't think we're going to have to tell you when people get strikes out here tonight. Big crowd here for a championship final, 30th consecutive year of Bowling with the Champs. Of course, throughout the summer, we'll be running the best of Bowling with the Champs. Then back in the fall with the 31st year. And there is a strike for Jeff Richgels from Madison.
Oh, that ball finishes hard. We've seen it all year. He's got a big pocket. He gets a lot of off hits. By that, I mean he doesn't have to be letter perfect into that pocket. He can hit them loose. Jeff Henry, on the other hand, also can carry that light mixing hit. Indicative of the scores they've had all year. And looking for our first double.
He got this. Well, it isn't this. Yeah, it is the same lead.
Exactly the same.
That happened to Jeff, and it's a little surprising to me because both bowlers agreed when the show was getting underway that, hey, the lanes are super. So here's the replay approach. Shows you how Jeff gets the line.
And also takes two, and unless you get a carom off the back, you don't expect to make those very often. So we've got an even match. Jeff could take the lead with a double. A little bit better speed. Will it make it back? There's that light hit we talked about.
I'll tell you, there's going to be a Jeff in the lead all night, Dennis.
That's right.
Jeff Richgels with the double.
A double and a 10-pin lead. That big pocket. Jeff Henry, we'd like to see him with just a smidgen more speed on the ball.
And maybe there was a little more there, but he came up a little high and left the 4-pin.
And testing the approach a little bit.
That Brett Faulkner is in the corner there.
Brett Faulkner, yeah. And Scott Muma in the corner for Jeff Henry.
There's the spare. So through 5 frames. Well, we'll give you through 4 for Jeff Henry, 65 with a spare up in the 5th. And Jeff Richgels, who's bowling now, is in the lead because he's going for a 3-bagger.
Well, he thought he might have gone a little high, I think, and he's kind of happy about that one. That's a turkey and a 20-pin lead.
These people can string them.
Yeah, Jeff's had a couple 270 games, 275, 279. Currently leading in the high single game category.
However, Darryl Mizell has a high 3 and also had a 279. There's Jeff Henry with a strike.
There's Scott Muma.
So if either Richgels or Henry did better than 730, well, it's hard to, so many possibilities, but we'll wait till they develop. Nope, solid 10-pin for Jeff Richgels, who ran that one out. Corner person, Mr. Faulkner, not all that happy with that situation.
Pretty good looking ball. And he's had trouble at times with the single pin spares. Jeff Richgels. Change bowling balls for this pair and look out. Oh, he never had
It
a
almost
chance
looked
at
like
that
he
one.
dropped it. He didn't get it out in the lane. He pulled it up short or
that's
something as
possible.
he delivered it. It didn't get out in the lane smoothly. You could hear a kind of a thump when it hit the lane, and it's an open frame.
And Jeff Henry could jump on it and take the lead in the match and the game. And we're only in game one, so they're both the same. Oh, and the crowd's alive.
Jeff Henry. We could have somewhat of a unique situation in that our two champions this year, both employed by the same organization.
Jeff Richgels works for the ABC?
No, Jeff Henry. I said
Yeah. Oh, yes, the
yeah.
ladies champ. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's what happened. Now, it looked to me like he just got away on him, Dennis, I think.
I think so.
That one didn't get away. Yeah, last week Karen Stemsky works for the American Bowling Congress, and she won the women's championship. And if Jeff Henry could win tonight, then that would be an all-ABC championship for the 84-85 season. Jeff Richgels is going to have something to say about that before that had happened.
Unfortunate part of that 6-frame miss was it was such a good hit. He might have had 5 in a row. Instead, he's got an open, a 30-some pin turnaround in that one frame. Does he like it? Yes, he does.
I guess he likes it.
He loves it. That puts him at the 200 mark. Jeff Richgels needs a double to get into the 200 bracket, even though he does have a turkey. He shows 2 opens, split and a miss.
Not going to make it enough.
Oh, yeah,
I'm wrong.
Give up on that
Never
one,
give up on Jeff Richgels. It came back all the way.
Oh, now we're getting some strikes. The bowlers said they liked the lanes. They've had a couple opens, but they're moving now. Both of them at the 200 pace.
There you see Jeff Richgels' score on the bottom of your screen. You also see Jeff Richgels looking around. And Jeff Henry looking for 4 consecutive strikes. Has he got it? Well, Jeff Richgels had the same thing, a 10-pin a couple of frames back, and he missed it. Jeff Henry will be trying not to do that.
Next year I get a tux.
Well, I didn't try to, look fancier than you. I'll tell you what's happening today. As most people are aware, the Vince Lombardi golf tournament over North Hills Country Club, and I played golf over there this afternoon. And I'm going back for the dinner, and it's a formal affair, so I thought, well, what the heck?
Hey,
I'll wear it
it's
to the
classy.
bowling show tonight.
I like it.
Then I don't have to change after the show and go to the dinner.
I think we should both have them next year, no matter Lombardi or not.
All right, you got a deal. We'll talk to Jerry McGrath, the program manager's in our audience.
Okay, howdy, there's that
Jeff
turkey.
Riggle with a 3-bagger.
And the lead, Hank. Big frame, the 9th frame at any time. That's 2 turkeys. Right in between them was that 10-pin error. It might have been a strike. It was a good shot. And now Jeff working on a 2-team game. Jeff Richgels and Jeff Henry, 204. He can still win it. Can go either way.
Well, he knows the importance, obviously. 10th frame, got it out in the lane well, and it's not going to come back enough to be strike material. In fact, he leaves 3 of them up there.
And we've completed the 2nd round of this year's Bowling with the Champs. We're down to 12 bowlers, I believe, and the leader after the 2nd round, Jeff Richgels. 1905, I
know,
believe.
isn't that amazing? Jeez, that we're talking about for 8 games, folks. 1905.
So we need a full count here for Jeff Henry for 201.
If Jeff Richgels should win, this would be his first championship. Same for Jeff Henry. We have the only 3-time champion in our audience tonight. Dennis Schichter here tonight. 3-time winner of this show, Bowling with the Champs, including last year. And made the select field of 32 again this year.
No, we're not down to 32 yet.
No, I said he made,
this year, yeah.
this past year.
Next year, in fact, he's out of it, Hank.
Yeah, I meant, but Dennis
For the
this
past
year.
season,
Yeah, this past
Okay, a 200 game.
Right on the nose,
Jeff
200
Henry.
for Jeff.
And Jeff Richgels, in spite of a couple opens, could go to 233. Oh, he likes it. Yeah. Oh!
He had a 7-10 split, and then they both went down. That's amazing.
It was a good ball to start with.
Wow.
We've seen him with pocket hits with the 7-10 a couple
We're going to
times
see it
this
again.
year.
Watch this replay. This is an amazing shot. He has the 7 and the 10 both up there momentarily, longer than momentarily. They're both up there now. Now watch what happens.
Unreal.
Amazing.
Gonna make it pay?
Nope, solid 10.
Well, he's gonna go 2-2-2. Deuce is wild, 222. If he brings us home, 22-pin lead. He's been in the pocket ever since the second frame when he had that big, ugly 4-6-7. So a pretty good opener for both of the bowlers.
Did a better job on that 10-pin than the last one he had, and so it is 222 for Jeff Richgels. Jeff Henry with 200. 2 more games to go, and anything can happen with the caliber of bowlers we have on our show tonight. So stay with us. We're live from Red Carpet Regency Lane frame. And the fourth one was a dandy. 7 and 10 both up there, and then they both fell down. And now he's starting game 2, and he's got the railroad.
Yeah, the 2-8.
One in the back, folks. It's not just one pin. It almost looks just like one single pin. You look at it head on from the foul line, but there's one behind it. And the thing you want to do is carry the ball through the front one and take out the back one as well. That's how you do it.
Now with his ball, he gets so much finish.
He hit it on the right side.
Anything on the right, he's okay.
There are some people that have hit it exactly that spot. It would deflect off to and they wouldn't get the one behind. But he's got so much turn that it just keeps on coming. There's the season average for Jeff Henry, 221. He has averaged through all his games on this show this year, which is darn good bowling. Oh,
all right.
Oh, Jeff Richgels got that 7-10 and broke it up for a strike, I'll tell you.
Those pins are active tonight, Hank.
What was that, the 4-9?
That was up 4-9 again. Yeah. Pretty good pocket hit. A little slow again, but watch the 4-pin. A little tap there and a little tap at the 9.
So a strike to start game 2 for Jeff Henry. Jeff Richgels looking for his first strike of this second game, and not that way.
He's got a half of them down, and a bunch of trouble. Turnaround possible right here.
Not only does he have 5 pins up there to shoot at it, an extremely difficult spare, but he only got 5 count on his spare from the first frame. I was almost expecting him to make that the way things have been falling here tonight.
Well, a double here, and Jeff Henry goes into the lead not only in this game, but in the match.
Change in a big, big hurry.
Better speed, better speed.
But a lazy 6-pin that just kind of snuggled down into the channel and didn't do anything about taking out the 10.
About a half hit. I think he kind of expected the 10-pin. But he was pretty close, had a little more speed.
There's the history of Jeff Henry on the show this year. You can see his progress through 4 rounds. This is the 5th round, of course, for the championship. And he has the spare.
So he's picked up 17 of the 22 pins with only 2 marks. As Hank said, a bad count and an open. Jeff Richgels, Madison, Wisconsin.
No.
All of a sudden,
well, they're
trouble.
Still falling, but I'm not so sure he wanted that many to fall, because now he has a split to shoot at where if they had the ones in between.
Yeah, the 2 and the 4-pin came out of that setup, which would not have been the easiest spare, but this is a difficult, and of course it's a split. He'll give it a good whirl.
I think I'd rather have the 2 and the 4 up there with
sure.
these 2 than just the. No, I don't think it's going to come back anywhere near enough.
So
and
he's
it's
back to back. One. Yep.
Back to back opens, and Jeff Henry looking to gain some ground here. With a with a mark here, he's being the lead in the show. And he has it. He's got a strike. Jeff Richgels told us earlier this year that after the season is over, this is just about it for the bowling season. They'll have to go through one more round of qualifying for the champs for next year. And he has lost the strike pocket. That is 3 consecutive splits. But he had told us, Dennis, he was going to have surgery, correct?
That's right. Something on his hand, I guess. Correct a problem.
And he says that when he gets it corrected and if he's bowling good, he'd like to give the Pro Tour a shot. Well, there are times when he really looks like he should be on that Pro Tour. This particular streak right now isn't one of them, and that was not a very smart thing to do, Jeff.
No, lost his composure just a little bit.
Those 2 pins on the right, he loses by 2.
Could be important.
Might
You're
be
right.
thinking about that.
And Jeff looking to put him away this game. He's got a shot at it. Oh, and a bad break.
The 4-9 that he almost got before, he gets now.
That didn't look bad. He had a rather a little bit deeper angle than he's been using. And normally that would kick that 4 out. Tough break, but makeable.
Are we packed in here tonight, or are we
really?
packed?
This is one of the bigger crowds we've ever had on a rather warm June night.
Bowling with the Champs, men's championship final, live from Red Carpet Regency Lanes on a Saturday night.
Well, it's going to give Jeff Richgels a little breath of air. A double there would have been serious trouble for Mr. Richgels. Now he trails this game by 30, but only 8 in the match. And look for him to bounce back.
He did. Jeff Richgels with a strike in the
Beer
fifth frame.
Not the Miller frame, but the beer frame.
If you joined us a few minutes late, Jeff Richgels opened up in game number 1 with a 222, Jeff Henry with 200. And we're halfway through the match. 5th frame, 2nd game. 3-game series. The winner of the 3-game series winning the championship. $5,000 trophy. Jeff Henry in there with a strike.
And Itai matches that strike in the 5th frame. Looking over a few names of the 112 that remain. Incidentally, they'll be bowling tomorrow at 10 a.m. to finalize the 32 for next year. A 2-time winner from Delavan, Wisconsin.
Ron Wheeler's still in there, huh? Come on back, Ron. We miss you.
A lot of bowlers that have been on our show, about 50 of them in the 112. So we've got a lot of talent coming up again next year. 10 a.m. tomorrow if you want to see some really good bowling. And then I believe at 2 o'clock, the top 50 ladies will be looking for their 8 spots for next season. So some good bowling right here at Red Carpet tomorrow. And of course, if you like rock and blues music, Hank, you know where to go tomorrow.
Oh, right? Between 2 and 6 tomorrow afternoon. Jeff
Looking for a
Richgels.
double.
He's
and
got it.
Tripped it.
There are some of our sponsors who are in our audience tonight looking on, and you'll meet them at the end of the show. They're going to give away some of the items that they donated for the high single game, high 3-game series, longest string of strikes, etc., etc. Pleased to have them all with us tonight. Jeff Henry. He's trying to get a double. He has not had a double this game.
They like it.
And he still
a little
does.
bit lazy again.
Corner
Scott
person.
Newman looking on. 2 to 6 at what? Midway Motor Lodge in Glendale, huh?
Yeah, Northport Washington Road in Glendale. Spider George and the Web, a 9-piece band, and they play great music, and it's all for Variety Club. No admission charge. We might ask you to buy a soda or a Miller beer, because Miller's helping us out. Our good friends at Miller. Where'd we be without our good friends at Miller?
All right, here we go. About an even match. Jeff Henry leading in this game. And Mr. Richgels again on a roll. He does string them, that's for sure.
Coming in. There they go.
He got him. That's 3 in a row after 3 splits in a row. First game he had a turkey and a 4-bagger. Jeff Henry also had 3 in a row and an isolated strike in the 3rd frame.
We have Darryl Mizell supposed to get here tonight if he gets back from the Cubs game. He went to the Chicago Cubs game. He has the lead for the year for the high 3-game series of 730. Jeff Richgels next at 721. Jeff Henry had 697. Those are the top 3 series in the men's division this year. And Darryl has made it now, I'm told. Okay. Now the high single game is Darryl Mizell
Here it comes.
and Jeff Richgels with a
4 in a
4-bagger.
row. That ties this game up, and that brings his 22-pin advantage back.
Both Mizell and Richgels rolled 279 games. Richgels also had a 275. And so Jeff Richgels would get the high single.
There's a good speed. Yeah.
And now that's his best strike maybe. This game anyway.
And he holds the lead this game, trailing in the match by 12 pins. And here come the strikes again.
Just where you want them, towards the end of the game. Longest string of strikes. Darryl Mizell with 10, Richgels with 8, but if they stand up as winners in the series or singles prizes, then Jeff Henry's in there with a 7-bagger, and so is Jimmy Certain.
And there's 5 in a row.
5-bagger for Jeff Richgels from Madison. That young man is tough.
He can get strikes, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. He occasionally can be a little erratic. We saw that again tonight. He missed a wide-open 10-pin, and then in a little display of chagrin, threw one down there to split a fireball that didn't hit anything.
Jeff Henry might have put him away had he struck in the 4th frame. But he opened up with a 4-9, a rather bad break. How about this one? Hey!
Picked out the 10-pin that time, and the Henry crowd comes alive. That's a 3-bagger for Jeff Henry.
And maintaining a 10-pin lead.
We'll see that last strike by Jeff Henry and watch the 10-pin, the last one to go down.
6-pin will give it a love tap.
Yep,
Okay.
there it goes. Can he make it a 6-bagger?
I think so. Oh, he's got it.
6 in a row from Jeff Richgels. We've seen so much of that on our show this year with Jeff Richgels, the ability to string long strings of consecutive strikes.
38 in the fourth, and here he's going to get 218 with another strike. Actually 2, but he's working on 200 right now.
Well, he could, I was going to say he can't get 11 in a row over 2 games. He could, but he can't win that prize, the Caribbean Cruise, because Darryl Meisel won that early
As long
in
as
the
he's
year.
here. Look, good thing he's shining around.
Yeah, he's here. Jim Glad from Hughes Travel going to make him the presentation tonight.
Oh,
on
and
the
look
show.
at
And
him
there's
make-
another one.
That's 7 in a row.
7 in a row. He could tie his high string on this show for the year of 8. His own personal high.
But Jeff can still win this game because he had a 10-pin advantage, also to strike working. So if he follows what Jeff Richgels did, he'll win this game. But he needs 2 right now.
Just inside that second arrow coming in.
And he got the action.
A
Oh, that's
four-bagger for Jeff Henry. We're seeing some bowling tonight.
great pressure bowling. The crowd loves it. 2 great bowlers and young bowlers, Hank. 22 for Jeff Richgels. 27 for Jeff Henry. Oh!
You know, he started to hold his head like he didn't like it. I'd like to throw a ball.
He thought it was going to be a little high, I think.
I guess, but it was right in there.
All right, here's what we can have. A strike for a win in this game.
Despite that 8-bagger by Jeff Richgels, no, he's not got it. Jeff Richgels has won game 2 as well as game number 1. Jeff Henry, that ball just never came in for him. I think it may have been in his release, would you say?
Yep, and he missed his spot by about a board. So he's going to go 214. If he covers this, he'll lose about 4 more pins, definitely in the match, the way they can string strikes. But Jeff Richgels will take a lead.
And he got them all for 214. 218 for Jeff Richgels, and there's a guy that sat on 38 in the 4th frame, under an average of 10 a frame. 38 he had in the 4th frame, ends up at 218. And Jeff Richgels unofficially has stretched his lead to 26 pins after 2 games. Stay with us. The 3rd game will determine our 1984-85 men's champion, and it's coming up after this. Red carpet Regency Lanes on this Saturday night. And a lot of people here tonight. What a crowd we have.
This is called standing room only.
Indeed it is. Included in our crowd, Dale Lamons, the longtime producer-director of this show for many, many years before his retirement. Now, of course, Glenn Skenador has that job, and there's the dinner bucket.
That's the dinner bucket is right. The 2, 4, 5, and 8. 11 strikes for Jeff Henry the first 2 games. 15 for Jeff Richgels.
Jeff is out there trying out the approach on the right lane there.
Now, this time of year, you get humidity, rain, changing temperatures. Good cover.
Okay, so Jeff, he could ill afford an open in the 1st frame of the 3rd game, trailing by 26, and he avoided that. Richgels may have stepped in something, or I'm not sure, but he's a little worried about the bottom of his foot there, as you can see.
And he leaves that settee area. Of course, he's a nervous type individual, and he's roaming around saying hello to everybody. But that strike
9
ball
in a row.
remains.
That is 9 in a row now. If
That's
Darryl
right.
Meisel hadn't won that Caribbean trip already, we'd be getting excited because he'd need 2 more. But he finished at game number 2 with 8 consecutive strikes, starts game number 3 with a strike. And Jeff Henry is going to have to find the strike pocket because I think Jeff Richgels
Has found it.
Has found it, indeed.
Most of the night.
Jeff is slow again, I thought,
Yep,
Dennis.
that's right.
Some of the crowd, and we are wall-to-wall people here tonight.
And as
I
Hank
see
said,
Greg Kelly in the background,
Right.
one of our bowlers on our show this year.
Jeff Henry cannot afford many opens. You may figure Jeff Richgels for an open or 2, but you always got to count on him for a 2, 3, 4, 6, 8-bagger. How about it? Made that
No.
once.
No, and it's becoming a bit of a struggle here for Jeff. He's leaving up too many pins after the first ball. And here's Jeff Richgels' record, the people he knocked off prior to the night. He's coming back. He's got him again. Wow, that's 10 in a row over 2 games. This young man, Jeff Richgels, can be a machine, and you're seeing that right now.
Got that effective bowling ball.
Tell you what, he was asking, he made a kind of a plea on our show earlier this year. Anybody wants to sponsor me? There may be some people sitting out there watching that 10-bagger he's just rolled and saying he might be a good investment.
Wouldn't be the worst idea. See what happens with his operation, and he'll be representing, or he's going to be qualifying for the team tryouts at Milwaukee, the 24th to the 27th of July. That's for the FIQ.
Yeah.
By virtue of a good finish in the American Bowling Congress all events the last couple of years. And he's looking forward to that, representing the United States.
Graduated from the University of Wisconsin this spring, too. Won an award as a writer for an article that was printed in one of the Madison papers. But his string is over at 10. He leaves the dinner bucket.
And again, tough conversion. Jeff covers a lot of boards when he's throwing his spares and leaves them a little suspect on these. Let's see what he does with it. Going with the harder shelled ball. He got it. He kept it on that right side, and that's a pretty good idea for Jeff Richgels.
It has to be a little bit encouraging, at least for Jeff Henry. At least he knows the guy isn't totally automatic. I mean, you watch your opponent string 10 straight strikes, you wonder if there's any hope for you, but at least he's got out of that and had only a spare. So Jeff Henry's going to make a move. It's coming near the time to do so. Fourth frame, right here. He did.
Oh, he took out that left side with a good bowling ball. Good shot.
Elmer Regner in our audience, as he is quite often, tomorrow night. I can't be inducted in the Greater Milwaukee Bowling Association Hall of Fame. I can't make it. I had a previous commitment to this Variety Club concert I was talking about, and we get the railroad for Jeff. And so I'm not going to be able to be there. I'm honored and appreciative and then regret that I can't be there. So Elmer's going to accept for me, my young friend Elmer Regner.
Not a bad choice. Elmer will keep him in stitches, too. He's going to perform at that dinner at Kuglich's in New Berlin. And again, keeping it, well, we talked about it. When he goes over to the left, he's in trouble.
Well, an open and an opening.
And here we go into the Miller frame, but it's a big, big frame for Jeff Henry.
You get that regulator clock for strikes in the fifth frame of the third game. In this round, the men's championship round, it's got the Lady in the Moon from Miller on the bottom of that clock. And is Jeff Henry going to win one? Couldn't get that 10 out.
Left that about 4 times at half 10 pin.
Not only does he not win the clock, he didn't get the double, and he's running out of time here, running out of room.
And we're talking $5,000 to the winner.
Next year, $6,000
next year. $2,500 to the runner-up tonight. He covers it, so he's within 8 pins this game, 34 for the match. He's got room.
And the encouraging thing for him is that Jeff Richgels, the last 2 frames, well, he moved a lot of pins out there after sticking at the line. Last 2 frames, Jeff Richgels, no strikes in the last 2 and an open in the 4th frame here. And there's the clock, and we don't give it away tonight from Miller. Nice looking clock.
It really is. And you talked about Jeff Richgels being a little bit tentative on the approach with his sliding foot. And it looks like he has new shoes on. And in fact, they look brand new, and he may not have them broken in yet.
Well, Jeff Henry steps back, and we've got a re-rack coming up here.
Re-rack, and we've got an 8-pin advantage this game. Jeff Richgels, we mentioned, 34 for the match.
Reminder that once the match is over, we'll be presenting all the awards for the season in the men's division. I want to thank you people for watching us throughout 84-85. Another successful year for Bowling with the Champs. We'll be back in the fall with our 31st consecutive year with this show. Jeff Henry, boy, if he'd made that 10-pin fall down last frame, the Henry supporters would be going nuts.
Really?
We'll have the reruns on Best of Bowling with the Champs throughout the summer and back in the fall. And Jeff Richgels, gone a long time without a strike. What, 2 or 3 frames? Here comes a pin. Nope, fell off.
And
so
he left that half 10 pin, and he has trouble at these occasionally. And again, he's looking down at that sliding foot, not happy with it. And going for his spare conversion ball.
He got it. He watched it all the way.
Yeah. Right. For a moment, I thought he had thrown almost the same type where he missed it. Well, if Mark Simon makes it through the next round, we're going to have our second bowler representing El Dorado, Wisconsin.
Really?
Really.
All right.
I would think Dennis Kenyon might have been back, but we've got our second youngster from that town. Double. Oh!
Now that wasn't a lazy 10-pin.
It really wasn't, and that could be the match. Not necessarily, but boy, he threw it well. Took his glasses off. He had to feel bad about that one. You know, when you're in a pressure situation, you do just what you want to do, and this is it. And then you don't get the break. Oh, so quickly.
Yeah. 6 just flew out of there off the side, back into the pits behind. And now he misses the spare, and that probably does it.
Yeah, that was the turnaround, and of course he just magnified the tough situation by missing.
Jeff Richgels on his way perhaps to the championship.
And he smells it now, Hank.
Yep. He leads in this game. He's going for the 3-game sweep.
Leads in this game by almost 20 with a strike working.
That's about 46 in the match. 3 frames remaining. Oh, and things go from bad to worse for Jeff Henry with the splits. So not going to be an all ABC championship this year, with Karen Stemsky having won last week in the women's division. Looks like the young man from going to take that title back to Madison. I think the last champion we had from Madison might have been Maureen Harris.
In the ladies division,
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't remember a man
I
from
don't
Madison
either.
winning. Well, an open for Jeff Henry, and you're looking at young fella's got trouble with his shoes, but doing a pretty good job despite that. Here it comes again. There they don't go.
Get them all mixing in front of the 7.
Yeah. Up in the
He's
bleacher section there, the crowd is just really packed in here tonight. What was that? I tell you, he threw the world's biggest hook at that one.
He's having fun now.
I think he's just out there enjoying himself. Tell you who I saw today.
5,000, I'd enjoy it too.
Yeah, really. At the Lombardi Golf Tournament, they got a chance to watch Bob Hope for a little while. He's amazing, Bob Hope.
It must be.
What is he, 82 or 83? And he nice, easy swing, hits the ball straight down the middle. Well, the strike for Jeff Henry, too little, too late in the 9th frame of game number 3. And here's your champion. And that's why.
Still ripping them apart.
Strike production dropped off a little in this game, but nevertheless.
Funny thing about this whole season for Jeff Henry, started out the first game he bowled 185. He's had all 200 games except this game, the last one.
Boy.
And it's going to cost him.
Can't pull it out? No, he can't.
Now 181 would be his best. Jeff Richgels has almost that with an open. So look back at the 7th frame of this 3rd game, but there were other turning points that might have turned it around. But I know he's going to remember that good 10-pin because that was close to the end.
You know, it's funny when you don't need them, or you know, they're not all that important anymore, and then he gets that double boy, a 3-bagger. He sure could have used that in the 5th frame there.
Really?
Or the 7th.
7th frame, yeah, or the 5th. He had a 10-pin, but not quite as good looking as the 7th frame.
So he finishes with 179 and unofficially has a 3-game total of 593, his lowest series of the year, and you got to pick a place. You don't want to do it in the final, but he went all the way through until the final round. Look at that 7th pin. Now, if this match were down to the wire, you'd be wondering where your luck was on that one. The 7th pin just spun around and stayed up. He can laugh about it because he's got it wrapped up.
That's right. Watch him have a little fun with the spare, I think.
Yeah, he did it last time. Watch this ball. Here it comes. He's got it. Andy Varapapa lives.
Any 1946 graduates in North Division, give me a call at Variety Club. It looks like a 40-year reunion coming up. How about this one to finish it out? Nope.
Oh, well, he's happy. He shot a .189 the last game, enough to win the game. A 6:29 series wins him the match, and Jeff Richgels of Madison has won our 30th championship on Bowling with the Champs. We'll be back to talk with the bowlers, give them some money, and a lot of other prizes and awards following these messages. Mike?
First of all, Jeff, I'm sure you're disappointed. Here's $25 consolation. You'll get a couple hundred more a little bit later. Congratulations. Jeff, you had the shot today. You had the confidence the whole tournament. Here's $200 for the sweep, and you'll get a lot more later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Rogie. Now we have some other people to make presentations to. Jerry McGrath is our program manager at WTMJ TV, and he's going to sweeten the pot here. I guess who do you want to do first, Jerry?
Jeff Henry first. For runner-up, Jeff, congratulations, $2,500. Okay. And Jeff Richgels, the champion. Thank you. This is the 30th year the show's been on the air, and it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Next year, $6,000 to the winner from Channel 4. We got a little time here to do a little bit of interview with the two bowlers before we bring up some more prize award presenters. And I want to talk to Jeff first. Jeff, you have to be a little bit disappointed, but you went all the way to the finals. Dennis thought that maybe on occasion tonight you were a little slow. Would you agree?
Well, possibly. I wasn't happy with the way I was executing. Lane 27, I wasn't carrying too well, so I tried maybe forcing the ball a little bit. So then I get tentative and you slow your feet down a little bit.
You also, when you needed a strike there, you left a solid 10. That wasn't one of those lazy ones. You had a solid 10. That one hurt in that third game.
Definitely. I made a lot of shots on 27, which I thought I couldn't shoot any better, and I left 8 or 9 pins standing. So, yeah, those are the breaks.
You had a lot of supporters here tonight. You want to thank them?
I'd like to thank them all for coming out and having a good time. So.
Okay. Jeff Richgels, he's got $5,000. What are you going to do with the money, Jeff?
Put it in the bank and earn some interest on it, I guess. Could possibly be a token for the Pro Tour eventually if I have to sponsor myself. I could do that, I suppose.
Okay, now you were having a little trouble sticking there. What was the problem?
I bought a brand new pair of shoes about 2 weeks ago, and I had my other shoes I had a lot of problems slipping with. You saw me fall against Ben Hafes if you saw that match. So I got these specially made to slide less, and they did. I was having trouble sticking all day. I don't know. I had that trouble last Sunday, too. I fouled twice in the second round, but it worked out all right for me, I guess.
You want to say something to your supporters?
Yeah, this time we finally got a night match. I could bring some guys down from Madison. We got to thank the crew down there, the Elbow Mania people. Not too many of them.
Now stick around because we've got some more presentations that are going to be made to Jeff Richgels. Here comes Dennis getting a hernia from carrying the trophy. Dennis?
Jeff, for all the people at Channel 4, for a long season and one that I know is very satisfying for you, congratulations.
Thank you.
You got somewhere you can keep that?
I don't know. I'm pretty small. I'm going to have a little trouble keeping this.
I'll tell you what, you can set it down for a moment if you want, because you're going to be standing up here for a few more moments. We've got Daryl Mizell. Will Daryl Mizell come on up? I know Daryl's here. And we'll get Art Gilo Jr. to come on over here from Gilo's Lawn and Garden, one of our longtime sponsors. And Art gave a tractor to the bowler for the high 3-game series, 730. Daryl Mizell rolls 730. Art, tell us a little bit about the tractor.
It's a 11 horsepower Simplicity 4211 with, of course, a 36-inch mower. Something that's going to do a great job for you, and hope that maybe next year will be another one.
What do one of those things cost?
It's about $1,600.
Not too shabby. Well, you can give the keys to Daryl.
Thank you.
Daryl, you got a lawn to mow?
Yeah, I just bought a Simplicity last year.
Now you got twin Simplicities. Our congratulations, Daryl. The Cubs lost, though, huh?
2-0. They got beat, yeah.
Okay. Our next presentation is by Gordon Moe of Evinrude Motors. Come on out here, Gordon. Come on back, Jeff Richgels. Gordon, this is a popular young man. He's winning a lot of prizes here tonight, but Evinrude donated a motor for the high single. Jeff won that with a 279. Gordon, can you tell us a little bit about the motor?
Sure. It's a 4-horsepower motor, 1984 model, Jeff, and it weighs 33 pounds. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our thanks, too, to Evinrude. Gordon, give everybody at Evinrude our best, and you've been a long-time sponsor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. And the next presentation. I feel like Monty Hall up here. Bob Marar, I got to tell you a story. Bob Marar of the Merco Corporation would have been here tonight, but they had a surprise 30th birthday party for him, so he couldn't make it. And there'll be a presentation of a Philco VCR to the longest string of strike winners. Now, we presently have a tie. Jeff Henry and Jimmy Certain, both with the longest eligible string of strikes, 7, and they'll have a roll-off at a later date. And the winner of that will win that from the Marar Corporation. We appreciate Merco Corporation, Bob Marar, the Philco VCR. Jim Foster from Foster Pontiac, come on out here. Foster Pontiac, of course, sponsoring the Fiaro for a 300 game. Jim, we're kind of sorry you don't have a presentation to make.
Yeah, so are we. I had my bus pass ready to go. I thought I might be able to use it tonight.
That Fiaro's a great car.
Yes, it is. We have good success with it.
Now, when your mom and dad were on here last week, your mom said she was trailing in the Foster feud. Is she catching up?
No, not really. Dad's keeping her pretty much behind this year, so we're happy about that.
Well, we appreciate your sponsorship, Jim, and we hope you're back next year, and we hope we give away a car one of these years.
So do I. Good luck for everybody.
All right, Jim Foster from Foster Pontiac. Jay Lenstrom is coming up here. I want to talk to Jay because he's from Miller, and Jay is in charge of sports marketing. And Miller, of course, not only is a sponsor, but they give away the prizes in the 5th frame in the 3rd game. The only thing that bothered Jeff Richgels is he won all the other prizes and he didn't get that clock. But we appreciate Jay Miller's participation.
I think we could probably work it out that he could get a clock before it's all over today.
Jay Miller's been with us a few years now, and I want to thank you, too, for sponsoring that Variety Club concert Sunday afternoon. Miller's involved in a lot of things around town.
It's our pleasure. We're involved with a lot of sports and a lot of other programs. It is our pleasure to be involved with bowling in this city, though. Thank you very much.
Including the Miller Open and the Miller races. Jay Lenstrom, thank you, Jay. We're still going, folks. More presentations. Jim Glad, come on over here. Darryl Mizell, come on back. Darryl Mizell is coming back because Jim Glad is the marketing manager for Hughes Travel, representing Bill and Connie Hughes, and a special award prize. He had 11 consecutive strikes over 2 games it was, and tell him where you're going to send him, Jim.
Well, we're going to be able to send Darryl and one other companion on a of your choice to a cruise on one of Carnival Cruise Line's fun ships with round-trip air to the cruise ship provided from Milwaukee by Northwest Airlines. So, Darryl, a very good congratulations to you from all of us at Hughes Travel.
Well, you got part of it, Darryl. Jim, our thanks to you and to Hughes Travel, and all our best to Bill and Connie Hughes.
Thank you very much, Hank. It's, as usual, a pleasure.
Okay, Darryl, when are you going to take the cruise?
I don't know if I'm going or not. I get seasick.
I know who is going. You have no choice. If the wife doesn't go, you're in trouble, right?
Well, I've had a lot of offers to take my place, haven't I?
Okay, congratulations. I think we're almost done. We got a moment here. Where's Gloria Bear? Is she around? We want to thank. Here, come on up here, Gloria. Come on over here, Dennis. I want Dennis Wright to come back here too. Gloria Bear is our tournament director, takes care of all the entries, and Gloria, now we're down to the exciting time for next year.
Yes, and I invite everybody out here tomorrow. Starting at 10 a.m., the top 112 men will be rolling, and at 2 tomorrow afternoon, the top 60 women.
Okay, and Dennis, I only got a second. I want to thank you for another successful year, and we'll be back in the fall.
Be looking forward to it. Maybe Jeff will be back to defend his title. One more round to go.
Okay, that's our show for tonight. Bowling with the Champs. It has been brought to you in part by Foster Pontiac, South 27th and Loomis. Foster challenges anyone to beat their prices. Anyone. And